You thought the game ended with the buzzer. You thought you saw it all on the court. Think again. The real battle, the fight for respect, happened after the final whistle. And it just redefined the Indiana Fever's entire season. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into it. Picture this, a top-tier game. The Fever, young, hungry, battling the defending champs. It's elite hoops, but something festered beneath the surface, a feeling, a whisper that grew into a shout. It wasn't just about the opponent. It was about an unseen hand, a different rule book for them, especially for the second-year phenom, Clark. And then the moment it boiled over. Post-game, Coach Stephanie White has had enough. White steps to the mic, not to talk about X and O's, not about missed shots. She took the gloves off. She dropped a truth bomb so loud it echoed across the entire league.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball game. We're still not recognizing our mismatches. I felt like AB had plenty of opportunities. We could have gotten her touches down low, and we had some turnovers, key turnovers. We settled at times. We fought, but we can't dig ourselves a hole from the beginning.
Yeah, Caitlin talked a lot about the defense kind of being iffy, especially in the fourth quarter when you guys were up 12 and then Liberty went on a 16-2 run. Just what did you see during Liberty's run that kind of you can take to fix?
Well, the best transition defense is offensive execution, right? And we had a couple of turnovers and a couple poor shots that led to runouts and led to runs. And I have to do a better job of using my timeout sooner. Oftentimes you get caught in this, it's going to be a tight game. You want to keep them for the end of the game. But I should have used one sooner. And we have to do a better job collectively of understanding that individually we don't have to make the play that stops the run, or the play that turns the tide, the play that starts the run. We've got to continue to do, what allowed us to be successful in the third quarter, and that was ball movement. That was playing 1-second basketball. That was player movement, and making the easy play.
Coach, you talked about the way that the game has been officiated for you guys. How did you see the foul that was not called, or a lack of foul, on the Bonner play, and then follow it up by Lexi Hull getting called for the foul?
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I thought it was obvious. I felt like AB got one, had one going to the rim. They're in rotation. DB's was crazy. And then Lexi's, I felt like equally, we talk about, coming into the path, and it was an offensive player veering into the defensive player's path. It is what it is. We have to be able to play through it. But at the same time, I feel like it's really disrespectful.
Steph, when watching Caitlin, when she has a little bit of a mini slump for her, with three-pointers, are there things you see or even talk to her about it, or you just sort of know she's going to shoot her way out of that?
Oh, I think she's going to find her way out of it. Now, we've got to get her easier ones. The ones where she's having to, dribble 5 or 6 times and create a shot. Some of that is play calling. Some of that is recognition and flow. Some of that is angles of our screens. We got to move her around a little bit more. She plays pretty much above the break all the time. And sometimes that's easy to predetermine how they're going to play certain actions. So we got to move around a little bit more in different actions. We'll have a couple of days to get some work in practice, and we'll use that as an opportunity to look at some of those things.
coming out of the timeout there, I think 36 seconds left and the score tied at 88. Were you looking for something moving towards the basket there, or were you happy with Caitlin taking the three?
Yeah, I mean, we were looking for something going to the rim, and I think we got a switch on the ball screen, and probably could have looked for AB. I think collectively this is part of our growth process is recognizing. We had a lot of mismatches and switches, recognizing it, and then you can't get so focused, hyper focused on it. It's got to be able to happen naturally, but recognizing it, communicating it. I felt like we missed an opportunity there.
Was there a moment there at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, when you're up by 12 points, that you start to feel everything's clicking and we can put these guys away, and you might be up here right now talking about a win?
No, I think the moment was when we were up 12 was more like, hey, we've got to continue to do what got us here. We got to move the ball. We've got to hit singles, not make home run plays. We have a tendency to try to make the home run play all the time, the dagger or the play that gets the momentum going, or and it doesn't need to be that way. We can make the easy plays. So those were more the communications, keeping our intensity level, on both ends of the floor. You can't relax. I mean, the margin for error when you're talking about playing championship caliber teams is so small. Digging ourselves a hole early, allowing them to shoot 64%, running into every screen like we're screen magnets. I mean, we can't have that. Not if we want to compete at the highest level. We'll have it sometimes because good offense beats good defense, but we can't have the breakdowns that we had. And then when they're making their runs, taking care of the ball, making sure we give ourselves the opportunity for the best shot on the floor.
I thought she got fouled. That's how she started. Not with platitudes, but with fire. Righteous fire. That wasn't just a coach complaining, folks. That was a declaration, a shield. Stephanie White wasn't just blasting the refs. She was telling her team, I've got your back. I've got your six. She was telling Clark, you're not alone out there. In a league where stars, players often get the calls, her team, especially Clark, felt like they were playing by different rules. The numbers don't lie. A staggering minus 31 free throw discrepancy. Think about that, 31. It's like playing with one hand tied behind your back in a boxing match. And White's not just talking about chucking threes. They're attacking the rim. They're getting bruised, getting battered, and getting no whistles. It's more than frustrating. It's a direct insult to the game. And it wasn't just one play. It was a pattern. Remember DeWanna Bonner's drive? Clear cut contact. No call. Seconds later, on the other end, Ionescu bumps Lexi Hall. And his free throws? The winning free throws to boot. It's like getting robbed at the ATM and then seeing the guy who robbed you win the lottery with your ticket. That's the disrespect White is talking about. That's the inconsistency that breaks a team's spirit. But not this team, not the Fever. Clark herself, despite a shooting slump, echoed the sentiment.
We really played one good quarter of basketball and lost to the defending champions by 2. So I guess that's positive. A lot of ways to continue to get better. But yeah, I did, not my best shooting night. I thought I could take care of the ball a little bit better. Had some tough ones. Ones where my arm was getting grabbed, but whatever. But yeah, just keep adding it there, keep shooting it.
My arm was getting grabbed, but whatever, that's the voice of a young superstar learning to bite her tongue, because if she says it, it's complaining. When the coach says it, it's a statement. White's stepping up allows Clark to stay focused on her game, to grow without being labeled. It's a strategic move, a brilliant chess play in the coaching world. But here's the kicker. White isn't making excuses. Neither is Clark. They know they have work to do. We're still not recognizing our mismatches. Defenses to start the game was poor. They're holding themselves accountable. This isn't just a referee issue. It's a young team growing pains issue. It's like a seasoned mechanic telling you your engine needs work, but also that the wrong fuel is getting in. And despite all this, here's the mind-blowing thing. Clark calls it a good loss. We are 2 possessions away from being 4-0.
Yeah, and that's probably what's frustrating about it too. It's like we are 2 possessions or, from being 4-0, but there was so many little areas in this game that we could have improved. Like our defense again to start the game was poor. And we got to find a way to come out with more energy, be able to guard. And yes, they present a very tough challenge when all 5 of them can make threes and, they're setting inverted ball screens, things like that. It's a challenge, but you got to find a way to do it. If you want to win, in this league, you got to find a way to guard. You got to find a way to get stops. But I think you take that as a positive. You go back, you learn, but also we are 2 possessions away from being 4-0, and a possession away from beating the Liberty here. So it definitely stings, but this is what's going to make us better.
Think about that for a moment. Not playing their best, dealing with a shooting slump, facing biased officiating, and they're still on the verge of being undefeated. 2 possessions away from being 4-0. That's not just great. That's potential. That's a team on the cusp. So now, beyond the controversy, the Fever are building. Aaliyah Boston, still a monster. Kelsey Mitchell making big plays. DeWanna Bonner crashing boards. Lexi Hall stepping up. Sophie Cunningham, the energizer, the defender, the hustler. This isn't just about Clark's team, it's a team. And they're learning to fight through the noise, through the fouls, through the slumps, together. So, when Stephanie White stood up and spoke out, it wasn't just a moment of frustration. It was a calculated move, a leader drawing a line in the sand. It's a message to the league. Respect our team, respect our star, or you're going to hear about it. It's a message to her players. I believe in you. I will fight for you. I've got your 6. I've got your back. It's a message to the fans. We hear you. We see it too. And we're on the same side. This game and these post-game comments weren't just a blip. They were a pivotal moment. The Fever are right there. They're finding their rhythm, even with the obstacles. And now they have a coach who's willing to go to battle for them off the court as much as on it. This is the definition of a team building for something great. This is how you forge a championship contender. The fight for consistency, the battle for respect, these are the unseen stats. The ones that don't show up in a box score, but define a team's journey. And the Fever, under Coach White, just threw down the gauntlet. This isn't just about wins and losses anymore. It's about setting the standard. All right, you've heard the story. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Stephanie White's comments will actually make a difference for the Fever's whistle? And what does it say about Clark's maturity that she's handling this so calmly? Sound off in the comments below. This is a fight for fairness, and we're just getting started. Until next time, keep balling.